Many of us have spoken about exponential companies, companies that grow in a different way than other companies. And the next speaker is probably one of the most successful exponential companies that has ever been. There are few things that have gotten 300 million users in about 18 months. And every time I try to say how many members or users or people that have played, it's always too low from, the 2 weeks earlier when I met him. I'm speaking about the creators of Candy Crush Saga and many other wonderful games. I'm speaking about King.com. So please welcome the chief gaming guru of King.com, Tommy Palm. The stage is yours.
Tack så mycket. Trevligt att vara här. Och fantastiskt att se att någon äntligen plockar upp det här med... Man har kunnat... I've been able to order pizza online for the past 20 years, but I've always wondered why I haven't been able to buy things online and be able to pick them up on the same day. So thank you much for that. I'll look forward to be a customer. So my name is Tommy Palm, and I'm the games guru of King. And I'd like to start also, as David were talking about disruptive innovation earlier. How many of you, can I see raise of hands, know this character from before? A few. This is a Swedish collector's item. It's the mascot of a Swedish company called Fawcett. It used to be one of the biggest companies in Sweden in the 70s. And they were making business machines, and they didn't feel that was very sexy, so they made this mascot to have some fun around the company. And this is now a collector's item for entrepreneurs that have in mind how important it is to keep a lookout for the future. The typewriter to the left is a Fawcett machine, and they didn't make it into the PC computer. That's from IBM. IBM is, by the way, one of the few companies that's been really good at staying on to the next generation. As the Harvard professor wrote, Innovator's Dilemma, wrote, the more successful you are in one generation, the less likely it is that you're going to be the leader of the next generation. And I'll talk today about King's journey. King has been around for more than 11 years now, and look at some of the transitions that we've been part of. So King started out as a social casual games company and has been focusing on making these type of games. And this is Candy Crush as the skill game it is, where you are pitched against another player online and you're competing against somebody who is equally good as you are. And this is still a very important part of our business because we use this site where now on royalgames.com where we can easily have a small team take something from an idea to a finished product with just 2 or 3 people. And today we have more than 200 casual games, and this is how the first iteration of Candy Crush came about in 2011. Something happened in the end of 2010. King were distributing the games via portals. That was the way for consumers to find the internet, and the first page of internet. But Facebook was taking over a lot of this business. And one of the big distributors was Yahoo Games, and you can see their traffic on the right going down. And Ricardo, the CEO of King and one of the founders, had a big speech to the company, said, we need to be on Facebook. And King started 6 parallel experiments to make games and a publishing platform for Facebook. And one of these experiments was called Bubble Saga, and it became quite a hit. And King started getting 2.4 million daily active users, which is a huge number, and it took King to become the number 7th biggest developer on Facebook. And Bubble Saga was called Love Me on the website, and it had a social wrapper when it became Bubble Saga, where you could see your friend's progress. That's what you have on the right. And this is something that King started to transform the company around and make more of these type of Facebook game. And this is infographics from 2012, where we became the #2 developer on Facebook. And we had just released Candy Crush Saga, a game with hundreds of levels and where you also could see your friends' progress. But something else was happening as well. It was starting to become obvious that PC was not going to be the big platform for casual games for so much longer. These are PC sales declining. And this is the greatest visualization of this, I think. This is the installment of the new Pope in 2005. And the same thing again last year. And you can really see an ocean of potential gamers ready to be tapped into. So if you just continue making games for the PC, you will have a slowly growing market. But if you combine these three platforms together, you have a huge potential audience. And that's what we're aiming at with what we call cross-platform games, where you have the same game running on different devices, and the game state is stored somewhere on the cloud. Potentially, you could also in the future go to other devices such as interactive TV or consoles. So some of the challenges that we met when we were taking these PC games and bringing them over to mobile was, of course, you have many screen size resolutions that differs a lot from the PC. And we were lucky there that all the games on the King.com site were square, so they fitted quite well to make into both landscape and portrait. We worked around how the network traffic is very different from a PC, where you basically are connected all the time, where a mobile and tablet, you have a lot of downtime, of course. So we set out to make the entire game so it'll be available offline, and you could play it when you're on the subway in New York, for instance, where you don't have as good internet connections as we have here. The user behavior is also very different from how you interact with your phone, where you constantly need to put it down in your pocket and leave the bus. So we worked a lot with making sure that it would start and stop really quickly. And discovery is one of the biggest and most challenging things with making apps and games for the mobile platform, of course. And here we were very helped with that the game already had a big audience on Facebook. So this is a graph showing what happened when we released the mobile version of Candy Crush. So the blue part of the graph is the traffic that we had on Facebook, and the other are platforms, mobile platforms, that started here. And one of the interesting things about this is that this traffic on Facebook almost doubled when we launched the mobile game. And the reason for that is very simple. It became a much better game. It was more fun to play. You had opportunity to play. You could pick it up at any time when you had time over to play, and you could show it to your friends. We had a lot of traffic and new users that was showing their friends that this is a game that's simple to pick up. And we had improved figures in both the spread of the game, retention, and monetization. So let me show you slightly how we work with the game continuously when it comes to Candy Crush and how we work with big data. So this is the saga part of the game, where you see where you are and you see your friends' progress. We typically work in a new episode every second week, so that's 15 new levels. And this is a part of that called Lollipop Forest, that is levels 51 to 65. And the object on these levels are different, but this one on level 65 is to clear all the jellies by making matches in front of this gray jelly that is behind the candies. And this was one of the hardest levels, and still is. So we had a 40% drop-off on this notorious level at one point. And we noticed that with the data, and we went back and informed the level designers that this is right now too hard. So what he did was to remove this edges to a single layer of jelly with that information, and that reduced the drop-off rate with 50%. So we had a lot of more people coming through and continuing playing the game. And that's how we continuously work. Unfortunately, everybody doesn't always become happy. This is from the internet, and it says, whoever designed Candy Crush Saga level 65, I will find you and I will kill you. And I just want to say that it's this guy. I had nothing to do with it. So this is a picture of the Facebook team that's making the Facebook version of the game. And as you can see, it's not a very big team. So just some key factors for Candy Crush, why it has become so successful. It's, first of all, the proven mechanic. Games are very hit-driven business. So the fact that we can test things in an early phase and not have to gamble the whole engineering team on it is very important. We also think that the candy theme is a really universal and strong theme that appeals to people around the globe. I credit a lot to accessibility. The fact that you know, every one of your friends has somehow access to a device where you can play the game makes it much more relevant to speak about this in a social gathering. So that's the cross-platform part of this. The game is free to play, so it's easy to download it. You don't have to make a big decision for trying it out. And it's also easy to understand and get into, which is very important. Then the social aspect is something that makes this much more fun and a good reason why people keep on playing this. I play it with my mother and my sister, and I go in there to help them out eventually, and that is why I stay doing this for so long. And the result is showed pretty well here, I think. This is the rank history for the top grossing title in the US for the iOS store. And this is the launch date, and this is today. So it's just basically a flat line, and that's been doing really well. And we're very humbled about that and happy, of course. So currently, the numbers that Ola referred to, as of Q3 this year, we have 137 million daily active users among our games. So this is not Candy Crush only. And 338 million monthly unique users, which are staggering numbers. So one question we often get is what's next? What do you do after a hit like this? So what we have been doing is continuing growing the company. When I joined 2.5 years ago, a little bit more, King was about 100 people. Today we are 1,100 people. And we've been starting new studios. So we have a very talented studio in London, for instance, that made Farm Hero Saga. And the games are now made independently in the different countries. Pet Rescue is made in Malmö in Sweden, where there's also really a lot of great game developers. And one of our newest games is Diamond Digger Saga. It's made in Barcelona. Another focus area for us have been to crack the Asian market. Traditionally, it's typically been a very different market, the games that work in the East and the games that work in the West. But with the casual games, we've seen that game mechanic is very universal. So for us, it's been a challenge to look at what are the things that we need to do in order to be as successful in markets like Japan, Korea, China, that are huge markets with a lot of growing potential. And one of the things that we have done is that we have started offices there with local people who know about games in these areas. And this screenshot here is from the locally produced Korean commercial that is really fun. I don't have a video of it, unfortunately, but you can really see some of the cultural difference that is between these countries. And also in Korea, we are partnering with another social network called Kakao Talk that's reaching 80% of the Korean population. So just to summarize, some of the key success factors for King and this exponential growth have been a repeatable formula for making strong IP, to be able to have these small teams that can take an idea to something that we can actually test out in an audience really early. This cross-platform architecture is something that we're very proud of, and it works really well for the entertainment industry. And also, this large growing network of players help out a lot with discoverability, which is one of the big challenges, where we today have a lot of users who like this type of games that we can cross-promote new titles to. So, on a final note, today is the launch of the mobile version of a sister title to Candy called Candy Crush Soda Saga. That's also being produced here in Stockholm. So, as of today, you can download the mobile version all around the world, except in some of the big Asian countries. So we're very excited about that. That's all from me. Thank you very much.